Ladies and gentlemen, are you now realizing why they say children are the future? And for 18 years, government officials made sure that your children were educated in a way that was going to benefit them when the time comes? Have you not realized that the pharmaceutical company realized your children was the future and turned them into the drug addicts, the sex addicts, the codependent men and women they are today, who we are today, I should say? Didn't you see how religious folks was able to strip us of our own sovereign dignity to think how we wanted to think, to, deny what we were feeling when we were around some creepy pastors, some creepy, ushers or anyone in the church congregation? Don't you see how children were the future when we allowed all these scientists to experiment on your children with these vaccines to see what would be the outcome in 10, 20, 30 years? And so, what we're seeing is that, yeah, we are adults, we make adult decisions, but if we adults, the one who have the clear minds, the love, the peace, the skill sets, are rooted in our culture, are rooted in our spiritual practices, are rooted in understanding how a community and family should be run because we practice it first within ourselves. If we're not the ones actually giving the next generation those real tools, those real lessons, what are they learning? What did we learn? How many of these math, subjects did we learn from elementary school all the way to high school and then college that we're actually using today? How much information that you are taught in these public school systems that you can actually use in the real world? And so many, unfortunately, we're going to have to point out the single mothers because you were the target demographic, got so conceited with ones and twos, A's and B's, and honor rolls that, were man made, fictitious achievements, not being outside and learning the different plants that are edible, that are medicinal, that are poisonous, not learning where your food comes from and knowing how to forage it, hunt it, or prepare it yourself, not knowing how to craft your clothes from the fur, from the, materials, the fibers that you can get from nature, the feminine principle. We don't understand that, hey, if 18 years boys are locked in these government facilities around other boys and girls without no way of releasing all the testosterone that's being built up when we hit puberty, well, this is where you get all your early childhood, pregnancies. This is where you get your fights. This is where you get your murders. This is where you get your sex trauma, your, trauma through fights with jealousy with boys and girls. The list goes on and on. So you have chaos now. You know why? We didn't raise our children. We handed them off to these strange men and women with these government certificates that said that they were qualified to teach your child. That because they did some course here and there, that they were safe, and the background check meant that they weren't going to molest, RAPED, murder, groom, you know, raise your child for its or her benefits. It's him and her benefits. Ooh, god dang. My head just started glitching and I didn't know what to say. However, you get the point. Children are the future, and yet so many women were reckless with their children. So many men don't have no idea what it means to be a father and raise their children. Now, this doesn't mean all men and all women, because those who are doing an amazing job, guess what? Their sons and daughters were around your messed up sons and daughters. And so a lot of boys and girls got traumatized by other children because those children were living in such chaotic and traumatizing environments. And we lost the ability of community. We lost the matriarch that understood that, hey, all mothers are mothers to every child, and all fathers are a father to every child. And so the resources went to the women who understood, hey, I'm cooking the food, and so I need to know what's actually going into my children's, bodies. And so they're very strict on wanting the best quality food, water, everything that it takes to sustain life. Now you only know what's good if you actually understand what you learned understand biology, understand, chemistry, understand different healing modalities, understand different esoteric books. And we went to the government to get our certificates. The same men, the same women who need the true, source, which is us, to then work for them, because without us, what do they really have? Just their federal dollars and their guns and their man-made rules that they use enforcement through federal and local law enforcement, and then the coercion of the medical field and the coercion of, now when you go to work, you have to follow your policies. So it is a full-on chokehold on every sector of your life, and has been exploited because, well, me being a black African man born in 91, I was born into the financial slavery. And I was able to read and see and even witness my own eyes the sellouts of all races and creeds and genders. However, I'm going to focus on my people. Like, wow, you really going to tell young black boys you need to learn how to make it money 4 or 5 or 10 ways now, rather than telling them, hey, we are financially at war and these people have rug pulled us at every single moment that they could to financially destabilize us, to kidnap our young boys and girls, to have our most talented boys and girls entertain them on their fields owned by their white owners. And so this constant destabilization to the African community, well, it went global. And people are now shocked that it's like, dang, I thought white was right. And then all of us who are white, we all should be looking out for each other. But yeah, no, now you're starting to see. The best example I can give is, Batman, the Dark Knight Rises, I believe, the one with Bane. Yo, Bane was the leader the whole time with his female, right? But at the end of the day, he was following the matriarch of who was his Ra's al Ghul's daughter. I hope I'm making sense. Anyways, with that point, remember that scene where the giant funder, the one who practically bought all of Bruce Wayne's weaponry, tech, and all that stuff, he thought he was running the shots because he thought money made him powerful. And then that dude who had the training, had the skill set, had yo, your purpose is now done. Thank you for keeping your society docile enough to where we was able to buy and pay out all your politicians, all your government forces, all your private sectors, all your medical fields. And now that we own them, well, we control them. And your money is kind of redundant because now, if people don't listen to us, we just get rid of them because they have the power and the numbers and they control the currency. So they had to remove the spineless money man. And then what they try to do? Well, they try to in Venezuela, Iraq, Haiti, Afghanistan, Vietnam, try to conquer barbarically and pillage the land because, well, at least they have the guns and the weaponry to enforce it. That's what you're seeing at a local level now. These Banes looking around is like, yo, we need a reset to happen. And all these people are still working their redundant 9-to-5 jobs. Go.